Hi everyone and welcome back to Project Peace in Satisfactory 1.2. Alrighty guys, this time around we have a pretty simple plan, right? We have plastic and rubber that we want to produce because we are about to unlock oil processing, right? And then we also want to set up liquid biofuel. That means we also need another milestone for this, which is going to be the fluid packaging, right? And we need some more plastic for this, which I probably could provide out of my storage, but it's fine. And I also want to unlock petroleum power, and in combination with fluid packaging and the alternate recipes, right, we might want to check for diluted packaged fuel to see if we can incorporate that and do something I have never done before, right? I usually waited until tier 7, I believe it is, when you unlock blenders, right, and get the alternate recipe for diluted fuel for that one. But I mean, why not try, right? And throughout the episode I'm just going to unlock the milestones, but I want the tier 5 milestones basically done, right? So that we can focus on manufacturers the next time, right? Or maybe the episode after the next one, because we have some catch up to do in between. But yeah, let's get the oil processing up and running, right? And I've also installed Sky UI, so now I can just change the time of day and I can pause it, right? Which is really cool for recording. And I will just make use of this in between, like when I am ready to record and it's night, I can now just rearrange the time. Other than that, I will just leave it running in the background. And as you can see, I have 1500 of the versatile frameworks now. That gives you a little bit of an insight of just how long I have been doing other things on the side, like starting with the power towers. And that is definitely something that I want to get into. So, as I said, today's plan is basically outlined. For plastic and rubber, I would like to do what we have done with steel, right? Split it up in 2 stages. Stage 1 is just going to be, what can I get out of a normal node? And do I want to overclock it or not, right? I will plan that out. I will show you. I will not go in depth about it though, because it's not needed, right? Stage 2, on the other hand, is where it will get a little bit more intricate and where I also need to decide on just how much oil I would like to use. So, if we scan for oil, right, we will see that over behind our caterium there in this nice canyon, there are 4 oil nodes. 2 of them are impure and 2 of them are normal, right? It's these 4 guys right here. So we have the 2 normal nodes and then the 2 impure ones. I will have to come up with how much I will want to use, right? And that's okay. That's absolutely fine. I'm going to make some blueprints. I think just basically for the beginning here, right? I'm not going to set up any recipes. I just want to plop down a couple of refineries. Like maybe one with 2 and one with 3 of them. And that way it's easier to place them. Perfect, right? So let's head over to the oil. Alrighty then, let's take a look at this, right? So we have our oil extractor on a normal node, fully overclocked 250%, right? And that spits out 300 cubic meters of crude oil, which this little bump here, oh, we need to fix that one. This little bump here is no problem at all, right? You have 10 meters of headlift for free, right? So we make use of this to bring it over, and then we drop it down and split it in half, and then we have 5 refineries producing rubber on this side, covered in black, and then on the blue side this is the plastic, and then we just have the 2 lines. They merge, right, go to storage. The heavy oil residue gets then processed in these 4 refineries, where we will produce some petroleum coke. For now I'm actually going to store a little bit of it, like 1 container full should be enough. There we go, you can see it here, right? And once this overflows, obviously another awesome sink. Now, because the amount is more, well, if you combine all of those, we are well over a Mark IV belt, right? So that's why 2 awesome sinks Just wanted to make this clear. And here we are going to add in the dimensional depots already, right? At least for these two. And then we will dismantle all of this once I'm ready to do the stage 2 setup, right? Alrighty guys, so before we place down the blueprint, our hard drive has finished scanning, so let's see what we get. Oh, that's pretty cool, the plastic AI limiter or the pure iron ingot. Both of these are actually quite good. No, I don't know what I should take. So, do you know what? Let's just scan the next one. There we go. And let's have a quick glance at that blueprint. Liquid biofuel. Right. And I think we can push this back a little bit, like so. And then here in the front we will have our inputs as well as our output. So maybe that looks cool. There we go. I also did invest a couple of summer sloops, right? And it will make sense in a little bit why. Because the plastic, right, we will use to craft empty canisters. And we can double our yield, right? Which is quite nice. I have set this to 40 per minute. As for the liquid biofuel packager, right? The 100% clock speed is actually 40 per minute, so that's why I have aimed for that, and this will be our output. And then we have our input for the solid biofuel that goes into this refinery. As you can see, we need 60 of this. And then we also set this to 40 per minute, right? So we need 30 water per minute as well, which is no big deal. If we just grab ourselves a water extractor really quickly, we can even set this up over here if we want, or it would make more sense here somewhere where it would be deep enough, right? So, that is a bit of a problem, I just saw that. We could just do this, to be fair. It doesn't really matter that much, right? If you think about it. All we really want is a somewhat okay connection to this one. Let's just noodle this over. There we go. And let's hook these to be ready. And let's set the water extractor to that 30 water per minute, right? And now it's just a case of we need to grab ourselves enough solid biofuel. And remember, we do have a full container, and I'm just thinking of dumping that into here. Now, for now, I definitely also want a dimensional depot on top of this guy, right? There we go. Alrighty. Alrighty guys, this is working beautifully, right? So I did bring over the whole container full of the solid biofuel, and I just dropped 2 stacks of plastics into this container, right? And it just works like a charm, right? We can see the canisters are getting scooped over, we can see that the refinery is working, right? So we are getting the liquid biofuel now. And there we go, there we saw a couple of containers moving over, right? Amazing, I adore this. I think it's just cool to fit it in one single blueprint. I just think it's fun, right? Sometimes that's all that counts, right? Having a little bit of fun, and as you can see, we are getting that biofuel getting stocked up, which means we soon will be able to just use our jetpack very efficiently, and I am looking forward to this. And that's our first little project for this episode done, which is nice. We have access to liquid biofuel, we will just let this craft in the background, and from time to time we will visit this and we might build a little hut around it. As I said, I just have to think more about it. So yeah, I think we are in a good place right now. Alright, and while we are still scanning more hard drives, right, I think it's okay to take a look at Petroleum Power. What do we need? rubber and plastic, 200 of each. I'm going to be able to do this quite soon. Nice. And there's the 200 plastic. Awesome. Nice. Very good. Petroleum Power unlocked. Ah, that's so good. And I am sloop crafting more sulfur into black powder. Oh, this is done now. Awesome. Yeah, it's looped, right? So now I can just think about nobelisks. Whew, that is going to be insane. If I really... Do I really want to do this? Well, we'll see, we'll see. We definitely will craft some nobelisks, right? Just so we have them ready. And we might just throw down a container with a depot on top, right? To have a couple of refills. Now, oh, steamed copper sheet. That is also a very good recipe if you want to produce a decent amount of copper sheets, right? Oh, we're getting really good ones, just not the one we want, but that's fine. We do have more hard drives to scan, right? And oh yeah, that's right, tier 5 milestones are done. Cool. So yeah, I'm still checking for diluted packaged fuel, right? And I'm now going to think about the rubber and plastic setup that I want to get at. Right, I thought I would have a plan by now, however, I think it's very important that we talk a little bit about what happened between now and the last cut, right? So I was out exploring a little bit more. You can see I have uncovered a bit more of the map over on this side here. And we've managed to find what we wanted to find. It took quite a while, and a rescan. Alrighty guys, so I have decided against the diluted packaged fuel for one very simple reason, right? I didn't want to bring water over from all the way back there, right? And we don't have a lake nearby, so I figured, you know what, we will just do a standard setup, right? So we have 10 refineries that are producing plastic, 10 of those are producing rubber. Very neat, right? Then we just combine the heavy oil residue in a Mark II pipe, which I have unlocked. That is a tier 6 milestone, but I figured why not, right? Then we have 5 refineries who are making sure that this heavy oil residue is getting transformed into fuel, and then we have 4 generators overclocked to 250% clock speed, which will enable everything here. So, this... I don't know about this, right? I don't like it too much, but I'm also not too stressed about it, right? And we have our storage set up. So what I'm going to do, right, is give this a notch, start it up, and go away for like 5 to 10 minutes. And come back in, and then we can see how everything works. Like the max consumption, it states here 954.3, not quite. Remember, we are overclocking our miners both to 250% as well, so they will consume a little bit more. However, we have more than enough headroom to make this work, and also we will produce a little bit more, obviously, once everything has kicked into place. So, for now, let's turn this one on, and as you can see, I have it in priority group 2 for now, just because there is some fuel power generators linked to this whole thing, right? Okay, as you can see, we had some dips in power production. That is very normal, right? This is why I stepped away for like roughly 10 minutes, if I recall correctly. And I just left it running, right? So the manifolds can warm up, right? I mean, we have multiple manifolds that need warming up. The heavy oil residue needs to warm up for the fuel refineries, right? And then the fuel itself needs to get distributed to our generators. But now you can see that we have reached stable power production, and yeah, it was definitely needed, right? You can see that we now are on a max consumption of pretty much 3600 megawatts. But now we're producing 6,700, which is that's cool. That is decent. However, I do want to come back to the whole packaged diluted fuel idea in the future. Maybe next episode I'll have to double check. We need some water and some oil. We know a place where that is happening, right? Where we can do this. And now we have 200 plastic and 200 rubber produced per minute. And that's pretty great, right? That is actually very, very good. So, oh hey, we have a decent amount of coupons already. Cool. Let's grab those as well. And now we do have the petroleum coke, right, that we were producing in the beginning with the initial setup. I have a whole storage container set to the side there. And here also, we are going to add in more productions, right? I mean, circuit boards comes to mind, right? We have some copper here, we have some iron over there, and some limestone even, so we can definitely bring in a couple of productions here to set us up even better for the future, right? And I just really like how this whole thing has turned out in functionally, right? I really love how the fuel generators look with those pistons and stuff. And yeah, see, we still had a little bit of a dip here, but that will be taken care of over time, no problems whatsoever, right? And this is what I meant, right, if the manifolds have to warm up. It is what it is, but now we are absolutely fine, and it's lovely to have this running, right? And sure, we do have more oil here. I'm just not that sure that I will be tapping into those in the near future. But yeah, that's it for today. Plastic and rubber has absolutely been done. We have some liquid biofuel. We did get the alternate recipes piece we were looking for, and we also have done all tier 5 milestones and even a couple of tier 6. So, see you next time. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, take care. Bye!